Oh good, a village. I need help.
Greetings, traveler. Allow me to heal your wounds.
No, not that kind of help.
You see, I'm kind of stuck in the middle of a love triangle. I just found out that giant apocalypse-bringing cloud that haunts the earth is also my father. And it turns out that I'm not actually real. I'm just the dream of a reality that died 1,000 years ago in Xanarkand. But hey, I know it's not just about me. I mean, you guys got problems too. Look at this guy. He's wearing a scarf in summer. He's definitely got hang-ups. There's a cave to the north of here. See? This guy's an existentialist nightmare. It's okay, Scarf Man. Let it all out. There's a cave to the north of here.
Good.
Doesn't that feel better? You know, I'm in kind of a metaphorical cave myself right now. There's a cave.
Yeah, I know. But can you just be an empathetic ear for a second?
There is a cave.
This is not how reciprocity works.
A dark magic artifact lies hidden within.
Break free, man. You're better than this.
The dark magic artifact.
Have you no soul?
A dark magic.
Hi, I'm Matt with Nightrun Studio, and I'm working on Willard, a platforming adventure game with an emphasis on exploration and character. In Willard, every NPC you meet is a potential ally who could join your village and help you defend it against enemy hordes. In my last video, I showed how I'm trying to make NPCs who feel more real. They actually feel hunger and they need to pack a lunch before going to work. If they're out of groceries at home, they need to head down to the market. And at the end of the day, they actually get tired and need to go to sleep. Throughout the day, I got dialogue pop-ups set up so that as they move from state to state, they say different things depending upon what they're doing. But I want this system to go much deeper. So during this next sprint, I have two main goals. First of all, I want to add some graphics elements. It'll be a lot easier to imagine these NPCs as real people if they actually look like characters and not just overgrown jelly beans. Additionally, I want to give my NPCs a sense of meaning and various emotional states depending on where that sense of meaning is at. Here's how that went. So on day one, as beautiful as those old trees and bushes are, I decided to start with them. So we swapped out the graphics, but I also decided to add another factor. Rather than just animate them to flow in the breeze, I created an actual breeze. Now I could set weather effects, and this breeze object would make its way through the scene, triggering animations each time it hit a tree. Depending on the weather, this will come more often, and it will trigger a more drastic animation. It still needs a little work, but overall, I like the effect of watching the breeze make its way through the scene. Seeing the world start to come to life a little bit really made me want to add some characters. So I added some clothing and finished up some animations for a new character, Elise, and I got her plugged into the game. Already watching an actual character do the harvesting made a big difference from that old blocky character. Next, I started swapping out my buildings, adding these stick hut graphics. But before I got too carried away with that, I wanted to add the option to add seasons. So for each building, I created a winter sprite. Now, whenever I click on set season to winter, it toggles on those winter sprites. Additionally, along with changing the graphics, it also turns on this cool particle effect of snowfall that just makes the whole world seem like a different place altogether. I can really see the potential of this season system down the road. In addition to adding new houses, I also added in a lumber mill and a lumber shed graphic. I also created a brand new background, getting rid of this tired blue background for something a little more vibrant. I added a number of different layers and slowly added more and more detail over time until I got it feeling about right. I hooked these new clouds up to my wind system so that along with the trees blowing harder and more often in heavy wind, the clouds also move more quickly. Additionally, I added some parallax scrolling to just make everything look better all around. One of the biggest challenges for me in doing game dev as a solo developer has been making character art. One thing that I found very helpful though has been finding good reference images. So for my next character, I took this image right here and started by using Elise's face and then creating a new hairdo and changing skin tone and that sort of thing. Once I had a feel for her face and character, I was able to take these other images, borrow a color scheme from this, a little bit of clothing from this, and then give Skiora her own personalized clothing. Now I can introduce you to Skiora, a millwright who can wield an axe with the best of them and who won't give any ground to any monsters who happen to invade the city.
With my world looking much more vibrant, I decided it was time to work on that second goal, giving my villagers some emotions. So I started by working with the meaning slider that I already created, causing it so that certain actions like just standing idle cause it to decay, while doing things like a good day's work cause it to work its way upwards.
I then created a number of different emotional states so that as my meaning drops, I move from happy to content to sad to depressed, etc. Now I just needed a way to show these emotional states in-game, so I created this icon here, which starts as a sorta smiley face when content, changes to a full smile when happy, and downward for other states. This opened the door for a lot more personalization, as now, when each character has dialogue for whatever state they're in, I can also have them say different things depending upon their emotional state as well. This allows Skiora to be quite happy when she wakes up in the morning, proclaiming there's nothing like a good day's sleep. However, that turns downward as she sits around idle for too long. Now at this point I was creating a fun little village simulator, but I had to remember that this is a video game, and I need to make it more interactable. So my next step was to make it so that I could click on different buildings, characters, and even resources in order to get more data on them. Adding to this theme of interactivity, I wanted to make it so the player could actually talk to the NPCs. So I added yet another type of dialogue, player-initiated dialogues. These would depend on both emotional states as well as the time of day, so that they would respond differently to you if you talk to them during lunch versus while they're in the middle of a shift. I also added some color coding to the emotes to make them a little bit more interesting to look at. Now we've got these nice colorful emotes so that Skiora starts off happy, but after idling too long becomes kinda sad, and her dialogue reflects this when she gets to work. That said, the player can walk up to her and you will see this dialogue box triggered indicating that you can talk to her. However, Skiora is not very interested in a conversation while she's in the middle of her workday. It was hard to believe it, but I'd already reached my milestones for this sprint and I still had a couple days left. So I decided to do a little work on the visuals of the game. I needed to winterize the background for my field. I also wanted to start thinking about some of the religious themes of the game. There will be a number of major religions that you'll have to choose which one to patronize. So I decided to start work on the Fire Temple, which came off all right so far. I also started work on another new character, Madeline, who will be the mayor of the first town that you visit in the game. This last sprint was really eventful, but there's still a lot left to do and the summer is slipping away quickly. So in this next sprint, I'm hoping to add some more interactivity by making it so the player can actually place buildings. I also want to work more with the faith element of the game, seeing how different religious buildings are going to interact with the faith of the people, and how that will connect to things like meaning. It's a tall order, so I better get to it. Until next time, this is Matt with Nightrun Studio. I hope you've enjoyed the videos, and if you have, please take a second to like, subscribe, or just leave a comment down below. Till next time, cheers.